Don't let YouTube decide what information you get. That's your choice. YouTube is deleting our videos and cuts you off from a source of honest reporting. Make sure you don't lose access to NTD's news content, and take a quick moment to subscribe to our newsletter so no matter what happens here, you'll keep your access to a trustworthy news source.
And the Mayo Clinic's vaccine mandate could lead to 8,000 employees being fired. The clinic's headquarters sent warning letters to those employees who haven't gotten the vaccine. NTD's Kevin Hogan has more on that and the protests that took place earlier this week opposing the mandate.
For over 4 hours, protesters took to the streets of Rochester, Minnesota on Monday. The Med City Beat reported that the Mayo Clinic has about 8,000 employees that are unvaccinated. Some of those risk termination as the nonprofit medical center is complying with Biden's federal vaccine mandate. One employee published her resignation letter on Facebook. She says she's not an anti-vaxxer and has had many vaccines and that she believes in science, but she says she doesn't believe in politics becoming involved in personal health choices. She says the Mayo Clinic is falling victim to, quote, communism. Some of the protesters held signs saying 2020, heroes, 2021, fired.
They want somebody, whether they're vaccinated or not, who is skilled and can take care of them and save their life. We were heroes. Now we're zero. And we have to fight this.
Other employees protesting said it's important to respect leadership and also respect those who choose not to get the vaccine.
That the issue is the individual lack of opportunity to make the choice for once. That to respect those that who choose to receive the vaccine and respect those who don't by still maintaining a safe work environment for patients, for staff and employees. To respect leadership, but also to have the opportunity to both choose but maintain a safe and healthy work environment within the context of respecting that choice.
Employees who haven't gotten the shot will be placed on unpaid leave on December 3rd, and they'll be fired by January 3rd next year if they still haven't been vaccinated. The Mayo Clinic did not immediately respond to NTD's request for comment. Kevin Hogan, NTD News.
Has quarantine enforcement gone too far in China? Authorities are installing a high-tech surveillance device on doors to people's homes. It alerts authorities if anyone inside opens their door or tries to leave. The new enforcement measure comes as parts of China are seeing an increase in new virus cases. NTD's Tiffany Meyer has more.
Chinese authorities are amping up pandemic prevention and control measures to unprecedented levels, now with the help of high-tech gear. They are now installing surveillance devices on doors and entrances to residents' homes that will alert authorities if anyone in the home so much as opens their door. Devices are being used to enforce lockdowns and quarantines in certain communities and districts. Chinese media reported that the director of one district in China's Gansu province called the devices extremely useful. With them installed, the moment a quarantine resident opens their door, the director will be alerted. Then all he has to do is make a phone call, and the resident can be dealt with. China has been practicing what it calls a zero-case policy. Even when only one confirmed case emerges in a given area, the whole neighborhood will be put under quarantine. Sometimes residents there will be made to stay home or go elsewhere in quarantine. In some extreme cases, that quarantine can last for months. Reports of the devices have caused a stir online. One netizen criticized the surveillance tactic, saying what authorities are doing equates to turning people's homes into prisons. Reports include Chinese authorities deploying these devices en masse. In one southern province, local media outlets say more than 17,000 of them have been installed.
Thanks, Melina. And a federal judge in D.C. is siding with people who sued the Biden administration over its vaccine mandates. The judge blocked the administration from firing unvaccinated workers who have pending religious exemptions.
20 workers, including both civilians and members of the military, filed the lawsuit last month. They are challenging Biden's mandate requiring all federal workers and contractors to get the COVID-19 vaccine. The plaintiffs say that because of this rule, they face termination, discharge, or separation on or before November 22nd. U.S. District Judge Colleen Collar-Cotley issued a temporary restraining order in the case on Thursday. She writes, "None of the civilian employee plaintiffs will be subject to discipline while his or her request for a religious exemption is pending. In addition, active duty military plaintiffs whose religious exemption requests have been denied will not be disciplined or separated during the pendency of their appeals. The judge is also asking all executive branch secretaries to issue memos by Friday that they will not terminate or penalize staff while religious exemptions are being heard. Plaintiff's attorney Michael Yoder praises the judge's ruling. He says, "We are one step closer to putting the Biden administration back in its place by limiting government to its enumerated powers. It's time citizens and courts said no to tyranny." Also on Thursday, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis sued the Biden administration over the same vaccine mandate.
Universities across the U.S. have stated the goal of achieving diversity in their classrooms. But some students are gaming the system. NTD's Arian Pazdar has more.
It turns out some white students are lying in their college application, saying they belong to a racial minority. They think they'll actually have better chances of getting accepted into the college if they pose as belonging to a minority group. Intelligent.com surveyed over 1,200 white Americans. Almost 35% of them said they lied about belonging to a racial minority in order to get into college. Out of those who lied, 85% were successful and got admitted.
This kid that went to my high school, he did that. He said he was of Asian descent, but he really wasn't.
That's kind of racist, I think.
The reason these students lie is because of diversity targets many schools follow, which aim to recruit more minorities. Critics say students with lower grades might be favored because they belong to a minority group. So according to students, how should that be handled?
I think the quota should come in when it's two people who have similar grades, and that's when it should be like, okay, we should take the person who is like of a different race or who's like brown or black.
She added that if a white person has better grades, then that person should be picked. But some people think students with lower grades should be considered too.
And you don't know why, the reason they have those low grades.
So just because they have like those low grades doesn't mean they don't excel in other like capabilities.
And some students said while diversity is desirable, trying to force it can be counterproductive.
Obviously, diversity is what everyone wants, and it's what makes this country as amazing as it is. But at the same time, making it forced like that, it kind of defeats the whole purpose of just highlighting, like, we're naturally a diverse society on our own. We don't need a quota or a specific stat to meet that criteria.
Some of the people I spoke with had a different opinion, saying that diversity targets are good and should be in place. But they all agreed on one thing, which is that lying to get someone else's benefits is of course not the right thing to do. Arian Pazdar, NTD News, New York.
Art is something we most often expect to find on the walls of an art gallery. Yet many in the fields of health and wellness know of art's powerful ability to help us deal with the many challenges of life, including illness, addiction, and finding happiness. NTD's Kay Rubacek has the story.
It's not cast iron, is it?
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I only deal with the cast iron.
I started it was all kind of purely selfish.
It's like fire shut up in your bones. You can't not do it.
Functional works of art.
That's what I like to say.
I create things that are beautiful.
I thought, I can do that.
It can be a call to action.
It increases your confidence. It says what your words can't say.
Do you feel like a magician sometimes?
Yes, yes, and I'm afraid to tell anybody that.
When people see beautiful things, endorphins start to happen, and there's this emotion that comes about. All that is sparked because art did it.
We sing before we speak. We dance before we walk.
You want to keep living.
So you got to get creative.
That's what makes it the challenge.
It kind of, when I hurt my back and had to retire, it was almost like my life was over. I had to have 2 back surgeries. I had to stop. My doctor said it stopped working or not walk anymore. I became dependent on opiates, and then the depression sits in. You know, I'm gonna stop these drugs and see if I'm hurting, see if I need them, and I didn't.
So you get it like this, and then you...
And I'll make it like I'm about to show you. beautiful door design. See the simple design. I call this the little peekaboo glass over here, so you can check it in the morning. You got an eagle here, there's bears.
So we use the arts in many ways to support their resilience and their well-being. You know, wonder, why are we creating and dedicating a program like this? Some people may see a trained professional musician playing music in a public lobby or atrium or of a hospital and call that music therapy. But that's not music therapy. Just as, you know, someone sitting and drawing a picture, it's art, but it's not art therapy. Most art and music therapy, or art and music therapy, I should say, is rooted in the mental health profession.
And give them voice. I think, yes, it's a good thing. And one of the hard parts was the misperception of what music therapy was. Oh, you're going to sing me a happy song? You know, oh, what a beautiful, when I've just been diagnosed with an incurable disease. What can music do for that? Now, those were times when I wondered myself, how is this going to make a difference? But the truth is, we are fearfully and wonderfully made.
Tune in to Life and Times every week on NTD television.
Thanks for watching us on YouTube. Don't forget to catch all of our programs on TV. NTD Evening News is on every weekday at 6:30 p.m. Find your local NTD channel at ntd.com/TV.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. There's reporting that can be trusted. There are programs that can inspire every generation. There is a television network worth watching and sharing. Our commitment is to bring you the facts and to show you the world. We won't be divided by politics, and we won't be swayed by the dollar. We believe in the strength of our nation and the hope in our shared humanity. We are NTD Television, and we are proud to bring you news you can trust and programs that make you smile. NTD Television, news you can trust.